Good morning. My name is Karen O'Brien. I'm the Director of Student and Family Support for the Tewksbury Public Schools. I just want to let you know we are recording this event for the families who cannot make it today, because we know people work and it's very difficult sometimes to take time off. So I'm going to pass the mic down so everybody can introduce themselves. What we will do is provide you with an overview of our program, the cost associated with it, and at the end we're going to open it up to questions that you may have, okay?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Megan Corcoran. I am the principal at the Heathbrook School.
Good morning. My name is Alexis Bosworth. I'm the principal at the Doing School.
Hi, I'm Michelle Jennings. I'm the special education secretary and preschool admin assistant for Heathbrook and Doing Schools.
Hi, I'm Molly Reardon. I'm the nursing representative. I nurse at the Heathbrook School.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Cynthia Bastieri. In addition to being the grant writer for the district, I also manage the Extension Community Services preschool program at both the Doing and the Heathbrook schools.
Good morning. My name is Elise Edson. I work in the district central office and do all of the registrations for the district, so preschool through 12th grade.
We really appreciate everybody being here today. We love that we have some friends who are just about ready for preschool visiting us today. We will be speaking to you about 3 different programs. We are fortunate. We have a preschool program at the Doing School. We have a preschool program at the Heathbrook School. We have very similar programs between the 2 schools, so when I'm speaking or when Megan is speaking, we're speaking about the same program, just 2 different locations. In addition, Karen will be speaking a little bit later about the 4-year-old program at the high school, which is a little bit of a different program. So we are fortunate now that we have a program at each of our elementary schools because it allows our students to attend their home school. In years past, all of the preschool programs were housed at the Doing School, and students were there for a year or 2, and then they transitioned to the Heathbrook. And if you're familiar with our district, we do have a number of transitions as the students move up in years. So we wanted to try to keep students at our schools as long as we could so we could form relationships not only with the students but also with you guys as parents. And it's been quite successful. We always have a full preschool program and a wonderful group of children and families. Just the kind of makeup of our program, we do call it the Integrated Preschool Program. That's the piece that we'll be talking about today. The reason for that is because we accept students of all abilities, and half of the students there in each of the classrooms, we have up to 15 students in each classroom. 8 students are those who are considered typically developing and don't require any specialized services, and up to 7 students in each of those classrooms may have some level of either academic or language or motor or cognitive need. It is a wonderful program. Our teachers are incredible, really working at focusing on all students meeting their goals, getting used to coming to school, and really learning those routines of what it's like. So it's just wonderful. So again, up to 15 students. We are looking right now to fill our tuition slots, which we will have 8 in each classroom. We utilize a curriculum called Frog Street. I think we're in year 3 of implementation. It's very student-focused, very hands-on, very language-based, and the kids love it. On your way out, please take a look. We brought some of the samples of the curriculum here, so you're more than welcome to take a look at that.
Thank you. So in our classrooms, all of the teachers that are in there are early childhood DESE licensed in both early childhood education and special education, and each classroom is additionally supported by an instructional aide. There are also speech therapy, occupational therapy, and physical therapy services for any students who might need to access those. On the next slide, you'll see our hours. There we go. So for our 4-year-olds program, these are students who must turn 4 by August 31st, and it is a Monday through Friday program. It runs from 8:50 to 11:50. And then our 3-year-old program is Monday through Thursday and runs 1:10 to 3:10. The costs are also listed up there for you. If you need a longer day, Dr. Bastieri is going to talk about our extended day program.
Thanks, Karen. For those parents that are looking for a full day option, we do offer the Community Services Extension Program. So the schedule will extend the day. For example, if you have a 4-year-old child in the integrated preschool program, and by the way, you must be enrolled in the integrated preschool program to take advantage of the longer school day. So if you're in the morning 4-year-old preschool program, you can sign up for the longer day option, and your child, the end of that program is 3:10, which is the release. So the child in preschool would be able to start at the same time as the general school population starts and end at the same time. However, there's no transportation provided for the extension program, as there is no transportation provided for the preschool unless you are on an IEP, correct? If you are a 3-year-old child enrolled in the integrated preschool program, then you would start in the community services program first thing in the morning. And so their day starts in the morning, and then they transition within the building to the integrated preschool program in the afternoon. Our program is also taught by licensed DESE preschool teachers. There is also at least one classroom aide in the classroom, and although we do not follow a child's IEP specifically because it is not it's more of an extension program, it is not the actual integrated preschool program, when we follow the IEP is a general guide, but we don't follow it specifically. We have great staff. Most of our staff has been with us for years and years and years. We have, because it's a longer school day, the students go to lunch, they might take a little nap. 3-year-old program, it's focused on getting the children interested and used to routines, whereas the 4-year-old program, we're getting them ready for kindergarten. So great program. It's very well subscribed. We do not have a lot of openings for the 4-year-old program, but because the 3-year program is new, we have, there's plenty of openings. So there's 15 students per class, just like the integrated preschool program, and I think that's about it, but we're welcome to take questions. There's an example of the schedule right behind me.
Which is also in your packet, so that you can reference it later. And
There-
for those people who can't be here, the presentation will be on our district website.
I did want to also mention that for the 3-year-old program, there was no school on Friday. Okay? Take it away, Elise.
Yeah, I think.
Real quick, just with the transportation, I want to point out, as you heard them say, there is no transportation for preschool, not like kindergarten ups. We will provide transportation all the way through 12th grade, although our high school students don't like to take it too much. But that being said, we do provide it, and currently that is free. So unlike a lot of other school districts, we've been able to maintain that at this time. Preschool, though, you don't get transportation, and you don't get transportation even if your child's on an IEP unless the IEP notes it for some reason. So I just wanted that clarification. So as you heard Dr. Bastieri say, we have an after-school program that either runs before your child comes, if you're a 3-year-old child, that can come in the morning if you get that slot, and then you can stay for the full day to 3:10. Vice versa, if you're in the 4-year-old program and you need the longer day and you get a slot, it is a lottery. If you get a slot, then you can stay till the 3:10. If you need, and a lot of folks work, you might need additional time of somebody to be with your child, there is a company called AlphaBest. So if any of you have any older children, you might already be working with AlphaBest, and if you're not, it's a company that comes in and they utilize our buildings, and they provide daycare and academic support to students till 6 o'clock. You have to work with Alphabest. This is not coordinated through the Tewksbury Public Schools. They are a separate entity. Their registration process is done through them. The cost associated with participation in their program is done through them. And as you can see on this slide, they do provide after-school and summer programming for families. Again, Alphabest, you just Google them, Alphabest Tewksbury, and you get the link. If you are fortunate enough to get the full day program and know that you need something a little bit longer, I would reach out to them in the spring and ask them, when will you be opening registration for the next academic year, so that you can be on time with that. Because like our programs, their program is run through the state and has requirements of the ratio of students to adult staff. And we can't exceed it because it is a state requirement. All right, I think you can go to the next slide after that. Oh, special ed, that's you?
Very quickly.
We do have a number of students who have been referred to us through early intervention services. So earlier intervention services sometimes begin at birth or up until 2.9. As part of EI, what early intervention does is send a referral to the districts. So they'd send us a referral to say the student is turning 3. They may qualify for special education services. We do have to go through an evaluation process through the district for every single student who is a referral from either early intervention, or if you have a concern about your child, you can certainly contact us. We have a special education case manager. Her name is Brenda Muse. She works alongside with Michelle at both of our schools, or you can certainly contact Megan or myself, and we can, if you have any questions today, we can certainly answer any of those questions. So happy to help in any way that we can.
So a little bit about our high school program. So we have a preschool program that is housed at our high school that is a little different. Unlike the programs we've already discussed, there is no monthly fee. There is a one-time registration fee of $100. This program is a little bit different. First off, let me start by saying the program goes from 9 to 12. And if you've been to the high school, you know you'll see a little playground. When you pull on the campus, they'll see the tennis courts, and you drive up and there's a little playground. That is for our preschool program. They have their own entrance. The kids come in that entrance and they go out that entrance. And the classroom is right off the door, right off the parking lot, and right by the playground. So how this program is a little bit different, let me start with there is no after-school component, meaning once 12 o'clock comes, your child goes home. There is no Alphabest, there is no extension program. And there is a licensed teacher in that classroom, and then there is an aide who is also licensed that is there to assist. How this program is different, kiddos in our high school that are going into education or would like to either be an elementary or secondary educator or even a preschool teacher have the opportunity to come in and learn. We have 3 classes at the high school for the children, childcare 1, 2, and 3. So these children come in and they get assigned kids that they work with, and they learn to facilitate curriculum and work with children. So it's a great opportunity for our students at the high school, but it's also a great opportunity for the little ones. So if this is a program that you may be interested in, when the registration opens, you can also sign up for that. But again, I do need to preface, there is no after-school component. So when 12 o'clock comes, the kiddos go home with you. All right, and I'm going to turn it over to Elise regarding the registration.
And just to add for the high school program too, the students do have to be turning 4 in order to enter that program. So they need to turn 4 by August 31st of this year of 2026 in order to be eligible for that program. And then for the registration, so our registration will open up next week in Community Pass. If you have any other children in the Tewksbury Public Schools, you'll already have a Community Pass account, and you can just log in and add your preschool age child to the account. So when you log in, there's something on the homepage that says View Account, and then you can click Add Child and put them in there with their birth date and everything. If you do have an older child in the school and weren't aware that you had an account and need a username and password, I can help you with that as well. And then if you do not have other children in the school, you can create an account. So you just go to the URL that's listed here, and then you can create a username and password, and then just add the child that you'll be trying to register for the preschool program. And the registrations will open up next week. So next Thursday, February 12th at 7 a.m., you'll be able to log on, and you'll see the, at that point, you'll see the 2026, 2027 preschool programs as the options to register for. So you would choose, so there'll be 3 options out there. So it'd say 2026, 2027, Heathbrook 3 and 4-year-old preschool programs, 2026, 2027, doing school 3 and 4-year-old programs, and then the 2026, 2027 high school TMHS preschool program. The registration is first come, first serve. So when you log in, you want to get on as early as possible next week. And because we have the full and the half day program, we don't know who's going to choose the half day, who's going to choose the full day, what's going to be more popular. So there is less. There's basically less slots allotted in Community Pass than what we may have. So just register. If you're seeing it's full, just put yourself on the wait list, and we'll kind of go through to see what people register for, to see if we can, fit any other kids in. And by the end of the day, next Friday, you'll get a confirmation email from us, if you've gotten into the program, with the next steps to finish the registration. And when you go in to register, there will be a deposit of the first month's tuition required to hold the spot. So it will be whichever, depending on whichever program you're registering for, that deposit will cover tuition through the end of September 2026. So you'll pay that now, and then the next tuition payment would be due October 1st of 2026. If you register now to get the spot and you do decide to withdraw from the program, as long as you withdraw before the beginning of the school year, we will refund that deposit that was paid. And the payment can be made online by credit card or e-check. There is a 2.9% fee for the credit card payments. And then once your child's registered, so the tuition's due the first of each month. And again, you can pay it online, or you do have the option to either mail in a paper check, or you can bring it into the office as well. And then, so once everyone's registered and we've gone through the list, I'll contact you. And if your child has a spot in the program, there'll be, a full set of registration forms to fill out, and you'll do a registration meeting with our office, which we typically do on Zoom, to kind of go over more information for the upcoming school year.
Can I just say a point? Yeah, on one point. I did want to mention also that for the 4-year-old programs, we only have 3 slots. Yeah, 3. Okay, so it's okay. It's okay. There's only 3 slots available at each school. So if you're interested in the 4-year-old program, I don't know if anybody's here or not, but if it is done first come, first serve, sometimes it's 7 o'clock when it opens. The slots are filled immediately, so by maybe 7:02 or 7:03, okay. Plenty of room for the 3-year-old program, but, and Elise again will speak to that, but I just wanted to mention that if you're interested in the 4-year-old program, you probably want to log on right away and have your community pass set up.
Yeah, so you can get the community pass and everything set up ahead of time and have your child on there, so that when you go to log in, you just click on it. So for the 3-year-old programs, basically there's 16 integrated preschool slots at each school and 15 extension program slots. So like in Community Pass, we'll set those up as 8 full day and 8 half day slots. But again, we don't know what people will choose, so we can adjust that if needed as people register. And then the reason there's less slots in the 4-year-old program is because when students do get into the 3-year-old program, we let them have a priority registration for the following school year before we open it up to the public. So for the 4-year-olds, as Cindy mentioned, there's only 3 full day slots at each school. Yeah, for the doing, there's additional half-day slots. So we have 11 half-day slots at the doing right now for the integrated preschool class for the morning session.
So when they're talking about the 3 slots at the 2 schools, they're talking about the extra, the full day, okay? And for you, those of you who are not familiar with Community Pass, this handout, which was given to you when you walked in, this walks you through how to set it up. Feel free to try to set it up over the next day or two. I do recommend doing that. And then by Monday, if you're having any difficulty, reach out to Elise, because that'll give you some time. Because as a dad came in, he goes, it's like buying concert tickets. And it really, truly is like buying concert tickets. You have to be there, you have to be ready right before 7 o'clock hit it. It fills up very, very quickly, especially our 4-year-old program that has less availability. And why you want to put your name on there. So you may be undecided right now, right, about where you're going to put your child, whether it'll be with us or one of the preschool programs in the town. Put your name on the list. If you get fortunate enough to get a slot, phenomenal. But keep your name on the list if you think you're going to be interested, because throughout the year we do work through that list. If somebody decides, you know what, I'm going to take, or they move, or they're putting them in another program, we can move another child into the program. So that is always helpful to keep your name on that list. Anything else we've forgotten, ladies?
If you believe that your child requires special education services and they are in the middle of an evaluation, or they will be going through an evaluation in May, my suggestion to you would be, if regardless of whether or not they're eligible for the integrated preschool program, if you still want them to attend, regardless of status, please register them so that you can secure a slot. It's very easy for us to switch over. But it would be harder for us to, if your child does not become eligible for services, for us to be able to move them into a tuition slot. Does that make sense? Okay.
Thank you. So at this time, I'm going to open it up to questions, and if you don't mind, I will pass the mic to you, only because we want the people at home that aren't able to attend to hear your question, because they may too also have that question. Anybody? Okay.
Just a logistics question, as I had an older child at doing. Are you competing with the whole pickup drop-off line for the preschool?
So you have experienced our drop-off and pickup at the Doing School, and unfortunately, it is not as wonderful as it was last year. We now have a single entry and exit because they're doing construction with the Little Red Schoolhouse. But we have a really great system, and preschool drop-off and pickup is in a different part of our building, so they're over by the gym. Kindergarten and first grade is over by the cafeteria. We just have created some lanes and some stop signs, and it's very creative, I must say. But if you had a child at the Doing School, and one was in preschool and one was in kindergarten, we'll make that accommodation so you only have to go to one place. How's it over there?
Not like that. So we only have one entrance and exit, period. So when we arrive and dismiss, it is all through the same door, but it's a pretty good system. If your child is only in the half-day program, there is a separate entrance and exit, because they're the only kiddos entering and exiting at that time. But we have a pretty good system. It's going well.
And no child walks out on their own, okay? So they will come with it, having their hand held by one of our preschool staff. We're very, very vigilant.
Given the exclusivity of the number of slots for the extended day for the 4-year-old program, if someone were only to secure the half day, would they be able to supplement with Alpha Best for the remainder of the day? Oh, bummer.
In our buildings at that time. So our kindergarten, our preschool, our first grade is going, so we can't do.
Oh, you know what? I should have given this back.
No, that's fine.
Could I just say one thing though about that, please? What we've done in the past is, if there are enough children to start a second class, so if you're put on the wait list for the 4-year-old program, which could happen, provided there's a classroom available, which sometimes there is, and we make it work. But if there are enough parents or families that sign their child up, we can start another class. But right now, there's just one.
Space allows.
Space is definitely a challenge.
Okay, somebody else had their hand up?
For the full day program, if the child has to take the full day program and considering the nap is usually between like 12 to 3-ish, how does the recess period, the lunch and everything work? Because I think Dewing said it's 1:10 to 3:10, right? The school is from 1:10 to 3:10, which is usually the nap time. How is your schedule look like?
So typically the schedule in the morning,
Sorry.
They're there in the morning. They would have their rest time, recess, lunch. I'm sorry, during the day. That would all occur before they go to the integrated preschool program. So they would have a typical curriculum that mirrors the Frog Street curriculum, although it's not duplicated. And then we work in the lunch, recess, and nap time, or rest time. Some children don't take a nap, but there's a rest time. They have the little, pads they sleep on. It's very sweet. But you are welcome to see the classroom. You are welcome to make an appointment with the teacher if you want to see more or hear more about the program. Okay?
So one thing we hadn't mentioned earlier, and I just want to throw that out, is that we really recommend that your child is toilet trained before they come. Okay, because obviously it's much smoother for the child and for the staff.
I do. So yes, the toileting is very big, but there are some other things that we do ask for families to try and their very best to do prior to the children entering preschool. We utilize bathrooms. Most of our classrooms have bathrooms in them, but they are public-looking bathrooms, and they look very different than your bathrooms at home. So we do really want to focus on exposing our children, your children, to things that are a little bit different than home, because they're not scary bathrooms, but to 3-year-olds who have never seen them or heard that loud flush, it can be a little bit frightening, so we just ask for that exposure. Other things like self-help skills of holding your own backpack and putting on your coat and trying to zip up your coat. We're not requiring that children know how to zip their coats when they start, but it's a lot easier. If you can imagine 15 3 or 4-year-olds and one teacher and one staff member trying to put 15 coats on and zip them up and put the backpacks on. They will, but it takes a long time. So the more independence you can facilitate and foster during the time between now and September is very, very helpful to your child.
Thanks. Going from the 3 to 4-year-old program, you mentioned that you just slide right in, or do we have to do the Taylor Swift concert ticket thing all over again?
So what happens is we will send out a notification to the existing 3-year-old families and say to them, are you interested in continuing on? And then you agree to that at that point, and then she can finish the payment piece?
So that process for the upcoming school year, so it's already been done at this point, so that's how we know how many slots we have left. So basically the middle of December, all of the current 3-year-old families were emailed like a link with a Google form to fill out. Are you interested in returning next year? Do you want the full day or the half day slot? And then they have to pay the same, deposit that we're asking new families to pay when they register. And they're given like a deadline to answer the survey and a deadline to pay that tuition. And then that's how we know like how many slots we have for this year. So no, you don't have to do the whole registration. It's a Google form you fill out, and then we'll go into Community Pass and register you, and you just pay the tuition to hold the spot for it. Yeah.
And so those families have already made their deposits, so we know that's how we secured it. More questions? Okay. Oh boy. All right. I'll be to you next, and then you last.
So as of now, is there one 3-year-old and one 4-year-old class at each school? And no, there's more than that.
You gotta get your teacher voice on.
I could have, but would my teacher voice record? You definitely don't want my principal voice. It's kind of like my mom voice. So at the Dewing School, we have 4 4-year-old classrooms in the morning, and we have three-year-old classrooms in the afternoon. It's very dependent on our population and our overall enrollment. Right now, just Heathbrook numbers are higher. In general, pre-K to 1, I have about 400 students. How many do you have?
Only 300.
300. So it's a little bit different. So you have fewer preschool classrooms because your numbers are less.
Yep, I have 2 4-year-old integrated classrooms in the morning and then 2 3-year-old integrated classrooms in the afternoon.
I'm just curious about the average classroom size of how many students are in each classroom on average.
15, right? So there's 15 students in every class. Up to 15. Sometimes there's a little less, but okay. And then
if you don't get into one of the existing slots, are you still able to use the AlphaBest program after school hours end? No.
so unfortunately, in order to use the AlphaBest, you have to be in the school district, associated with the school district.
I know that the 4-year-old program sounds to be pretty competitive, like you got to sign on right at 7. Can you speak to the 3-year-old program? Is it typically like a bloodbath like that, for lack of a better term?
Get your steps in there.
So I'll try to answer it. Unfortunately, I don't have a definitive answer because it really just depends, like, on the year and how many people log on right at 7. You definitely have a much better chance with the 3-year-old program because there's no one registered for it right now. So, there's 16 spots at each school. It really depends, like, there is less full day slots in both programs. So, like, if everyone logs on and most people want the full day spot, then it fills up faster. If there is more people interested in the half day, then sometimes you have a better chance with that just because there is more half day slots available. So I think I would say it's still competitive, not as crazy as like the 4-year-olds, but it just really depends, if people kind of have more interest or in the half or the full day program, and then how many people are going on right at 7 a.m. to register for it. Yeah. Anyway,
So, for example, we do have a couple slots right now for the 3-year-olds. So, no problem.
Just to go off of that, if we are hoping for a full day but would take a half day for the 3, do you sign up for both, or is there an option to just slide into the half day if you don't get the full day?
So you only want to sign up for one program and sign up for whichever one is your preferred program. So like if you prefer the full day, but it's waitlisted, just add to the wait list for that because everything's timestamped. So if you're registered for the full day, but you have like an earlier timestamp and we have half day slots available, we would ask you, are you interested in moving in the half day instead? But just only do it once because then if there's like multiple timestamps, it's confusing where you are on the wait list. So yeah, so if you want the full day, you can wait list for that and then it will go off, your registration will go off that time. And then we may say, the full day is full, but we do have half day slots if you're interested in that. So, because we set it up with, as I was saying earlier, we set it up with less spots than are potentially available just because we don't know what people will choose between those two programs.
I can just. So, again, for like the full day programs, I assume you guys will be providing food. So what do you have any restrictions on food, or is home food allowed? Like when we get food, do you want us to have no nuts, things like that? Is that something that we discuss later, or yeah?
Thank you. So yes, if a child is enrolled in the full day program, so the integrated preschool program and then the extension program, the children do go to lunch. They can bring their own food, or they can access the school lunches, which is a very similar menu. For most 4 out of 5 days would be the same menu that we offer K to 12. Some days there may be a little bit of a change. I think on hot dog day, for example, we do grilled cheeses just because of hot dogs. Yeah, because joking. But something like that. In terms of peanut free, it doesn't matter during a lunchtime. Your child can bring whatever, but all of the classrooms do a snack time, and it's very classroom dependent. So if we have an issue with a student who has an allergy within the classroom setting itself, we would notify the families to say, please don't send your child snack containing nuts or whatever that allergen is.
I will like to say our school system as a whole is what we call nut aware. So we know that no one's perfect and it's hard to get our little ones to eat things. They're very preferential. So we are aware that we have a prevalence to nut allergies. So we ask you to do your best. If you have snacks that you know don't contain nuts, those would be preferred. And if your child does have a severe nut allergy, you just want to get in contact with your specific school nurse. We can talk about it, set up what accommodations they will need, and we can loop in the classroom teacher and all that sort of fun stuff, as you can imagine. But we are nut aware, not nut free, just because it's so incredibly difficult in this day and age. So we encourage everyone to try to avoid nuts, but we understand that it can be difficult. And we have a dedicated nut-free table at lunch that your students can sit at if they do have a nut allergy and you're concerned.
And to just add to that, when our staff goes and cleans the cafeteria, the cleaning materials are separate for a peanut-free table than they are for the rest of the tables. So there's no cross-contamination.
I just wanted you to speak on how you find the kindergarten readiness for the integrated program compared to like private programs compared to the high school program.
Can you clarify just a
So,
little bit?
My son went to a private daycare in Tewksbury, and he came to kindergarten really ready. So I just wondering if you're finding the kids really ready.
Short answer, yes. We have students of all abilities and all. We service students of all needs, so there is definitely a variation. We work very closely, our kindergarten teachers work very closely with the preschool teachers to identify what their expectations are for the beginning of kindergarten to ensure that the preschool teachers are preparing the students for that transition over. Does that? Okay.
Hi. If you don't have a preference for the half-day 4-year-olds, if I want to do the high school, you're not able to sign up for both and be on a wait list for one?
Sorry, that was, I didn't cover that in the other question, but that's actually the exception to it. So you don't want to wait list for like 2 different programs at the Heathbrook or the Doing School, but you can register or wait list for one of the Heathbrook and the high school preschool program. Yeah, if that's the one you prefer to get into, I'd do that one first. And then if you do get on the wait list, you can go back and try to register for either the one at your home school, the Heathbrook, or the Doing. The high school program actually has been pretty competitive the past few years as well, just because there's a total of just 15 kids at the high school, and it's one class instead of the 2 classrooms they have at the other schools. So.
Any other questions?
I know you said that there's 8 students and then 7 for like IEPs. If those 7 spots don't get filled by like September, do those get open to regular, or is just this 7 like they're set in stone? They don't get open for like students without IEPs?
Good question. Thank you. So correct. We wouldn't open those 7 slots because there are students. The exception to the 3-year-old turning 3 by the end of August and the turning 4 by the end of August, That is for students who register for the tuition slots. By law, if we have a child who turns 3 during the school year and they require special education services, and we believe that they need to attend a preschool program in order to access those services, they can start mid-year, or they could start, if their birthday is June 1st, they can start June 1st and be there for 15 days. So we do keep those slots open. The one caveat is if we end up having more than 7 students who are on IEPs in classrooms, then we would have to look at, do we open up another classroom to support those students?
So to piggyback on what Alexis is saying, so, you know, children can come and they turn 3 during the school year and they need an IEP, so then they come in. But we also get kiddos who come into the district at all different times. And so as a child moves in, if they're an identified child that needs an IEP and they're 3 years old or 4 years old, or we're in another district getting services and they transfer in, we have to then provide it under the law. So that's when those classrooms may be added. And that's where the wait list is good, because then we would start reaching out to families and saying, are you still interested? Any other questions?
I know you mentioned, like, if we wanted to see a classroom, how would we set that up if we wanted to, like, see one of the classrooms?
If you were interested in coming to see a classroom, you could reach out directly to the school, whether that is either Alexis or myself or the front office staff, and we could coordinate that with you. It would be usually after school hours when they're not in the middle of teaching, but we could arrange that.
No, you're helping me exercise. It's great.
They just keep popping up. Do you do any sort of open house night, let the kids come in and like see the classroom once they're accepted and meet who their teacher is going to be, and what does that look like, or the time frame?
I don't know the dates off the top of my head, but yes, before school starts, we do have a window for both preschool and for kindergarten, actually. I don't know the dates, but it's before school starts.
It's usually I think preschool is the day before school starts and kindergarten is the Monday before school starts. That's kind of our typical calendar.
Saying the word calendar reminded me, does the preschool follow like the half days that the K through 4 have?
Good question. So if there is a half day in the school district and your child comes for the afternoon, there would be no preschool. And then if there's a snow day, obviously it's a snow day for all students.
But I think you're asking about the K through 4 early releases. No, pre-K does not follow those. It only applies to K through 4.
Right. So it's when there's a professional development day for staff. Or we have half days before February vacation, April vacation, and Memorial Day weekend. And Thanksgiving, I'm sorry. I forgot that one. Any other questions? So if you have any questions that when you leave here, you go, oh, I wish I would have thought of this to ask, feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we will do our best to get you an answer. If you reach out to me and I don't have an answer, I will find the answer for you and get back, similarly with Elise, okay? We appreciate you coming out. Hopefully this has been helpful. Again, get your community pass activated if don't already have an account, because people tend to struggle initially with getting that account up and going. And then if you do run into problems, reach out to Elise before next Thursday. Okay? Awesome. Have a great day. Go Pats. Stay warm.